So it's only been like a week since we found out that the awesome OV1 would now be referred to henceforth as the Solana Saga, and that it would be a brand new sort of phone, kind of brand new sort of phone, based around the idea of pushing Web3 and cryptocurrency and NFTs and all sorts of things. And if you read the response on social media as well as in the comments of my video on this subject, a lot of stuff that most people don't know a lot about, don't care a lot about. Really strange phone for anyone to make at this point. But it's apparently not that strange because HTC has been long rumored to be creating their own Metaverse, or as they call it, Viveverse sort of phone, whatever it is that means. And they actually have announced the thing now. So this is the page here for what is now known as the HTC Desire 22 Pro. And from first glance at this thing, it looks a little boring. It looks a little plain, but we're going to dig in because maybe there's more there. And look, if you can think back not that long ago to a time when HTC was making some of the best phones on the market, like the HTC One M8, which, if we skip forward in this very long video, had this incredible construction. I love the way that that thing looked. On the front side, I believe you had two fantastic stereo speakers that eventually they're bound to show. There you go. They were making some really good stuff back in the day. So maybe, just maybe, HTC still has it in them to make something very good. So let's read what they've got here about the HTC Desire 22 Pro, and let's find out if they do a good job of explaining to me and to the broader public what a Metaverse phone is. What is the point of this phone's existence? Why should I want one? Because honestly, when I'm talking about the Solana Saga, one of the biggest problems I have is that all the stuff that they say, all the buzzwords, cryptocurrency, NFT, Web3, the average consumer doesn't know what any of that stuff means. They did not do a good job at all of actually telling you why you would want to buy their product. Let's see if HTC does a better job. They say it's swift, versatile, dynamic. Desire 22 Pro is the phone to carry you into the future. My God, we're moving into the future. Designed for immersive experiences in a world where the physical, digital, and virtual interconnect. Okay, I understand that. And with the capacity to run 2D and 3D content on extended reality devices. Get ready to add new dimension to the way you live, work, and play. So HTC obviously makes something called the HTC Vive. It's a pretty high-end VR headset. Now, they're talking about extended reality, XR, which is different than virtual reality in ways that I would have to Google to tell you. So XR apparently is an umbrella term that covers AR, MR, and VR. So it could just mean any of those sorts of things. Of course, AR and MR basically being kind of the same thing, where you've got the real world and then like an overlay, like, you know, like you're a robot or something. That's mixed reality or augmented realities, you know, taking a 3D object maybe and displaying it into the real world. You can do that on some of your phones now already. And of course, VR, virtual reality, something like Oculus and so forth and so on. So apparently this thing is going to aid you in some way, augment in some way the use of XR. Enter the Metaverse. Unlock endless possibilities with optimized performance and connectivity to 5G, Wi-Fi, and Bluetooth. Visit Metaverse communities in Viveverse using your browser, or pair Desire 22 Pro with Vive Flow, which I believe is one of their headsets. I believe it's the very steampunk looking thing on her face currently in this picture, to explore them in VR. With screencasting, you can access your mobile apps while immersed and stream media in private cinema experience. So I think the first thing we have to ask ourselves is, what is a Metaverse and what is a Viveverse? Because Metaverse is one of these things, one of these buzzwords you hear all the time. And I promise you, if I went to my local Walmart and I walked up to 100 people there and I said, "Excuse me, sir, ma'am, individual, what is a Metaverse?" I guarantee that not one person would have what I would consider to be a correct answer to this question, because Metaverse is extraordinarily vague. It could, I guess technically I'd probably get some right answers because the term is so vague that it could mean almost anything depending on what your position is on Metaverse. There's an article here by Wired with a really good paragraph here. Broadly speaking, the technologies companies refer to when they talk about the Metaverse can include virtual reality, characterized by persistent virtual worlds That was hard to say. That continue to exist even when you're not playing, as well as augmented reality that combines aspects of the digital and physical worlds. However, it doesn't require that those spaces be exclusively accessed via VR or AR. Virtual worlds, such as aspects of Fortnite that can be accessed through PCs, game consoles, and even phones, have started referring to themselves as the Metaverse. So it might be a sort of place you can virtually go that exists even when you're not there, like Walmart. But it might also just be augmented reality in some ways. So would Pokemon Go kind of be the Metaverse? Fortnite's kind of the Metaverse. The game Rust on PC kind of sounds like the Metaverse. It's all Metaverse. Who knows? And best I understand, a Viveverse is basically HTC's little carved out chunk of this broader Metaverse picture. So in some way, this phone is going to help you get into or interact with the Metaverse. And they talk about the ability to cast your screen. So does that mean you've got your headset on and you can see your phone's screen and then interact with it inside your headset? Because that would actually be pretty cool. Because I like to use my Oculus Quest 2. I thought it was behind me. It's over there, so I can't grab it. You know what it is. I don't need to show it to you. And a lot of the time, I want to be able to see what's going on my phone, right? I'd like to be able to, sometimes I'll have music playing and some earbuds while my headset's on and I'm boxing or something, right? And I got to like do the double tap to see through to go kind of look at my phone, which you can't really. I'd like to be able to see my phone. That's a good idea. I think that's what they mean. It's kind of unclear, but maybe. Visually vibrant and vivid. Treat your eyes to a spectacle of delight on a generous 6.6-inch display. How is a display generous? That's weird phrasing. Desire 22 Pro's crisp 1080 by 2412 to 1080p panels. I mean, that's fine. 120 Hz refresh rate, though. That's pretty decent. Enjoy a rich view of the Metaverse even without a VR headset using Viveverse. So ostensibly, you're going to be able to, and kind of like we mentioned from that Wired article, the Metaverse does not require a headset. So this phone, they want you interacting with this Metaverse through your phone using some Viveverse application. It's running a Snapdragon 695 5G, 8 gigs of RAM, 128 storage. This is pretty average. 4520 milliamp hours for the battery. Pretty basic, mid-rangey kind of stuff. 64 megapixel main, 13 ultra wide, 5 megapixel depth sensor, 32 for the front facing. This is pretty standard fare. We do have a video here to get a better look at it. I actually don't mind the camera bump here. It kind of almost reminds me of some of the current Sony phones. I like the kind of stripy thing on the back. At least makes it a little bit different. 120 Hz refresh rate, talked about that, playing some kind of a game. Of course, we do have, again, the camera setup we talked about. Ultra wide depth sensing. That is a really odd looking headset. I've actually never seen that thing before. It is very different looking. It's kind of steampunk. Don't know if I like it or love it, but you can see here her headset's on and her phone is in her hands. And she appears to be interacting with the phone. Can she see the phone? How does she see? Can she see her hand? Because under the Oculus, you can see your hands in it, kind of. I don't understand what's going on here. And this is kind of what I'm talking about. See, now she's doing stuff out here. So I guess there's hand tracking, I would assume. Maybe I'm wrong about this stuff. Reverse wireless charging and wireless charging. But that's kind of my point, is that it's just not super clear when you look at these companies, when you look at what they're announcing with this stuff, it's just not super clear to me, like what they're trying to say. And if it's not clear to me, it's not clear to a lot of people. I also want to point out on vive.com/Viveverse, they say, join Viveverse from any phone, tablet, PC, or VR headset. So what's the point of this particular device then, right? What about this hardware makes it any better for Viveversing than any other device? It's a pretty standard mid-range phone. Now, I don't want to throw any shade here, but I'm starting to think this might just be branding. So they do show this thing being up for pre-order. Now, I'm using the UK version. I don't know if this is actually coming anywhere else. I assume that it is, but right now the UK website's the only one that's actually working. 399 euros. For some reason, there's two of them in the cart that I do not wish to have. But anyway, you can see the price there. But you also see, save 15% with Flow. So maybe that's what makes it great for the Viveverse, is the fact that if you buy it with the HTC Flow, you'll save a little bit of money. Let's get rid of one of these. Can I, get a final price here? So if you buy it with this headset that ostensibly it works well with, maybe it works better with than other Android devices. Eventually, we're going to see a price here. Be looking at like $1,100? Viveverse? At any rate, there you go. The HTC Desire 22. Jump into the Viveverse coming soon. Let me know what you think about this stuff down in the comments. How do you feel about these sorts of metaverse-y phones? At least it wasn't like chock-a-block full of crypto and NFT stuff. I think there is a mention of an NFT somewhere in there. Like, I think if you buy it, you'll get like a free NFT or something like that. And I know that Viveverse definitely has some NFT kind of stuff going on in there. So it's in there, but they're not beating you over the head with it quite as bad. We're looking at a relatively inexpensive phone with this stuff kind of branded, I feel like, on top. Sound off in the comments down below. Guys, I'll see you on the next one. Don't forget to subscribe, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friend.